This is Ramon, the channel's Alpha 4. Welcome to the White Wall of Death. My last few videos got almost no views, so welcome to No View City. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about my program. So in other videos I'll talk more about diabetes and about what led up to my diabetes, and I'll talk about my nutrition program at some point, what I did for that, my diet, and when I'm talking about this, I will mention any relevant information, like health-wise, nutrition-wise, that has to do with that. But what I want to talk about this time is my workout program to regain muscle. And so this is my third cycle, and my first cycle was weight loss and conditioning. My second cycle was strength gain and weight gain. You heard that right. And my third cycle, which is what I'm on right now, is about endurance, speed, and form. So we got to go back though to before I knew I was diabetic and before I actually started any cycles. So we got to go back to November 15, and this is just after my legs stopped working. So I realized something was wrong. So I started working out again. I was like, I got to start exercising again. So I started doing Tai Chi, yoga, and bag work. And bag work means the speed bag and the heavy bag and that kind of stuff, and calisthenics. And that just means body weight exercises, no weight equipment. And in November I was 260. By the following June, from November 2015 till June 2016, I weighed 215 pounds. So I went from 260 to 215. It was then the week after July 4th, literally the very first business day that businesses were open. I got a call from the doctor, and I get a phone call from a doctor, from my doctor, obviously, not just a random doctor. It's like, hey, hello. And he was like, looks like you have diabetes. So let's talk about that. So it was just after my birthday. I found out I was diabetic. I had an A1C of 14 and triglycerides of like 3,000 something. Basically, I was at death's door. I was diabetic. So from July 5th onward, I started my first true training cycle after 3 or 4 years away from training. So the first thing I did is I went back to basics. I went back to the foundation, and that's what Morimoto Musashi would recommend, and that's from the Book of Five Rings, and that's kendo stuff. So what was the foundation for me? What are my basics? Well, I went to Tai Chi in the morning, followed by walking on the treadmill, followed by yoga in the afternoon, and then weights at night. And I went with the weights, I went all the way back down to 0. So I'm not lifting anything. I'm going back to 0, and I'm just trying to get, I think I was doing 20 reps or 10 reps, and I'm just building up every time that I get to every time I get to my max rep goal, I then go up another weight. So and I'm working up 5 pounds at a time. And I started walking 1 minute at a time, and every other day adding an extra minute. And with my yoga, I was just doing one breath per pose, and I was doing about 10 poses. And what a breath would be, and that would be one breath. That would be, so I was working my way up on that. Okay. I set up a 30-week program, and my goals for that were 150 for bench press, 75 for squat, and 45 minutes of walking without stopping. I didn't really care about speed, and I wanted to be able to hold a pose for 30 breaths, specifically kneeling poses, so that way I could, when I would go to church, I'd be able to kneel and pray. And I'm Catholic, so at the back end of the Mass, there's a part where we kneel in the pews, and I wanted to be able to do that. It was at this point that I cut sugar out of my diet, and I limited my carbs to 15 per day, Later within that same cycle, I would switch to 15 per meal because you just can't lift at 15 carbs per day. You just can't. The way that I met my caloric needs was I took my basal weight, which is the amount of calories you need to survive, to live and live. And then I added how many calories I was burning per workout session. And remember, I'm working out 4 times a day, so I'm adding all that together. And as I would lose weight, my basal would change, it would lower. But as I increased my activity level, I was also burning more calories. So I would have to adjust how much I was eating to how much I was burning and to how much I weighed. And that number would change. So I also used a Fitbit and my FitnessPal to check my math because, you know, let's face it, these are all estimates at some point. I also checked my blood twice a day, once in the morning before any meal or activity, and then again at night, 2 hours after my last meal and last activity session. I reached these first goals in half the time I was expecting. So by 15 weeks, I weighed 155, and that's from 210, I think, whatever, 215. And then I was benching 165, I was squatting 95, and I was arm curling 60 because my arms didn't really lose muscle. It was just my legs and my back that did. And I was able to hold a yoga pose for 60 seconds. So that means like 60 breaths. I was able to walk 45 minutes without stopping, but I still wasn't able to jog. It was at this point that my A1C dropped to 6.5 and my triglycerides dropped to 50, and I think that's when I made my first video, roughly about then. Or I made a video talking about it since then. After much debate and conversation with my specialist and his team at that time at the diabetic center, I decided against most of the team's advice to move to a weightlifting and muscle building program, which meant I had to increase my carbs and increase my caloric intake, which most of the team was against, but the head specialist was actually for. He was like, "You're doing good, go for it." Although he wanted me to be more patient, and he still says that to me, but I really want to recover faster. Okay. This meant increasing my caloric intake and putting carbs back into my diet, and this was a scary adjustment for me at the time. I really debated it. I did a lot of research on the effects of working out and what it has on diabetes, and I found good information that told me it was a good idea. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. I'm an idiot. So I split my workout at this point into 2 programs. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday were my strength days, and these were at 90% max, 2 sets, 5 reps, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were my endurance days, and this was 50% max, 1 max rep, at 4 sets at 15 reps. And my goal here changed as well. I wanted to bench 205, squat 155, which was my then weight, and I wanted to be able to jog 6 miles straight, a goal I didn't exactly hit, but I, in a way, also surpassed. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would jog outside. I was no longer on the treadmill. And I would go block by block. So I would go 2 blocks, 1 block walk, 1 block jog, stop. Then 2 days later, I would go 4 blocks. And I would go walk a block, jog a block, walk a block, jog a block. That's what I was doing. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would use the mini stationary bike, and I would just do about equal amount of time on the stationary bike. From that point, during the day, I'd have to go to work. So I would get on with the computer, and I'd do that till about lunchtime, till about 12. Then at 12 o'clock, I would do my boxing, and I'd go 12 rounds. Then I'd go back to work, and now it would be phone stuff, and there'd be mostly conversations. And my martial arts on Sunday would be my schema, which is another term for kata. Monday would be kendo. Tuesday would be 2-sword kendo, which again, Marumoto Musashi, Book of 5 Rings. Read it if you want to learn about the 2-sword school or 2-sky school. Very good stuff. Wednesday was sai, which is plural, even though it sounds like a singular word. And then Thursday is bow staff, And Friday is my Kali and Ischema. And before you think I'm trying to sound like a badass, I do not know anything about Kali or Ischema. I had to look that up on YouTube videos. And I made 2 Kali sticks on my own. I just wanted to do it. That'd be a cool, fun exercise. Then at night, after dinner, I would do my weights. And then a few hours later, just before bed, I would do my kickboxing. And that I do know something about. Okay, so I did this from October until late December. It was at that point that my bench press hit 225 and my squats hit 170 and my weight jumped up to 170, which I'm hoping is mostly muscle. I do have the little pitcher clippers to make sure my body weight is at the right thing, but I haven't checked it recently. I hit my best jog at this time, which was 7 miles. So I was able to jog for 7 miles. But again, I would jog a certain distance, then walk a certain distance, then jog a certain distance, and walk a certain distance. So as for my health, my A1C dropped down to 5, which is no longer in the diabetic range. There was a little bit of complication with my triglycerides because they were so high at 3,000 something. They dropped all the way down to 50, which is too low, and you need cholesterol, which triglyceride is in that family. You need cholesterol to produce hormones. So they took me off all the pills. That's why I made that video recently about where they want me to stay on the pill if I want to take it, but they can't force me to take it, that whole thing. Yeah, it turns out that the cholesterol lowering pill that they recommend for people who've ever had any blood sugar issues is not good for me because my cholesterol got too low. But it's in their handbook for me to still take it, so they're like, well, you don't have to take it, but you're still prescribed to you if you want to take it, that whole thing. Okay, so now I'm working on endurance, stamina, and speed. And so I just, about 2 weeks ago, I did my my max rep test, which is like how many push-ups I can do, how many sit-ups I can do without stopping. This is at about 30, and my goal is to get to about 50 or 60 with crunches and sit-ups and squats or push-ups. My goal is to get to 60, which is crunches, push-ups, squats, calf raises, that kind of thing. And my goal is to be able to do 5 pull-ups, and that's 5 pull-ups in a single set without cheating, without breaking form. So that means no momentum, no kicking, none of that stuff. Just using strength to do the exercise and to do 60 push-ups. Okay, and I want to be able to hit a mile in under 10 minutes, to hit 3 miles in under 30 minutes, and to hit 6 miles in under 60. And I just hit my first goal on that I did a mile at 9 minutes and 44 seconds. And this week I'm readjusting my weight to work on form. So I used this device to film me exercising, which hopefully you'll never see. Basically, I went as high up as I can go, doing as many reps as I can go. So doing 5 reps at a time, as many sets as I could do until my form broke down. I run 3 miles in 28 minutes. I want to be able to do 60 push-ups. If you're wondering why these sound familiar, these are the military standards. No, I wasn't in the military. And then just recently I hit a mile in 9 minutes and 44 seconds, which is my first minor goal of doing a mile in under 10 minutes. Which I will then build up to my larger goal of doing 3 miles in 30 and then 6 miles in 60. You get where this is going. All right, and this week I am readjusting my weights, so I am checking my form. So I am not doing a 1 rep max, but I am starting at 0, going all the way to what the heaviest I can lift, and keep my form at 5 reps each time. So when I can do 5 straight reps with perfect form, that's where, once that I lose that and even 1 rep, that's where I'm stopping. So I'm taking my weights now from 225, and I'm going to drop back down probably about a good 25-30 pounds as I correct form and correct muscle imbalances, which you might notice this guy's bigger than that guy. And then let's see. Then I'm going to take the weight and the repetitions. Right now is about 30 reps, which I'm going to break down into 3 sets of 10. And I'm going to build up from there. And let's get a better camera angle and put something interesting back here, right? Like this is just, there's nothing here. Okay, peace, love, subscribe, like, do all those things. To the 3 people that watched my last video, I love you. And if you're not related to me, will you marry me? If you are related to me, seriously, we're from the South. We're not that from the South, so you can back off. All right, peace. That joke's probably not going to make the cut. Bye.